This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning all. I am Ravitesh Balekar. In this session, I am going to explain about what do you mean by Node MCU, the specifications of a Node MCU, how to use the Node MCU microcontroller in the Arduino IDE. Node MCU is an open source IoT platform. It includes firmware which runs on the ESP8266 Wi-Fi system on chip from ExpressIF systems. Okay, what do you mean by a firmware? A firmware is nothing but it's a tiny operating system, or in another, a firmware is software program permanently etched into the hardware device, such as you can take a TV remote, a keyboard, or etc. It is programmed to give permanent instructions to communicate with other devices and perform functions like basic input and output tasks. Firmware is typically stored in the flash read-only memory for a of hardware device. It can be erased and rewritten. The firmware uses a Lua scripting language. A Lua is a lightweight, high-level, multi-paradigm programming language designed primarily for embedded use in application. The purpose of using the Lua scripting language is in web application, in image processing technique, in gaming application, we are using the Lua scripting language. One of the best example related to the Lua scripting language, earlier they introduced the Angry Bird game with the help of the Lua scripting language. They introduced the Angry Bird game. ESP-XX models. Okay, these are all the different models under the ESP-XX module, ESP12, ESP11, and under the Node MCU they are using ESP12 module. The pin diagram of a ESP12 module. Now I'm moving towards the specifications. The main difference between the Arduino Uno microcontroller with respect to the Node MCU, the main difference is ESP8266 Wi-Fi model. Under the Node MCU, you are having the microcontroller added with ESP8266 Wi-Fi model. The first specification, it supports IEEE 802.11 B, G or N. B, with respect to you are having the data transmission of 11 megabits per second. G, it's having a data transmission rate of 54 megabits per second. The N, it's having a data transmission of 100 megabits per second. And the second one, integrated low power 32-bit MCU, typical frequency of 80 megahertz. It's having a static RAM of 160 kilobytes, and it consists of the very much important one under the Node MCU is it supports 17 GPIO pins, that is general purpose input output pins. It is having a SPI, serial peripheral interface flash up to 16 megabytes, integrated 10-bit ADC, integrated TCP IP protocol stack, and will have the n number of interface and buses under the Node MCU. The first one SDIO, secure digital input output of 2.0, will have the serial peripheral interface. It's nothing but it is a synchronous serial communication interface specification used for short distance communication, and it is going to support the full duplex. A UART. UART is nothing but a universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter where we can have the communication between the two devices, transmit as well as the receiver. Another very much important communication under the Node MCU are I2C, I2S and the IRDA. I2C, it is nothing but it is an inter-integrated communication where it is a synchronous multi-master, multi-slave packet switch single-ended serial communication. for short distance communication. Then I2S. I2S nothing but where we can transfer the a stored sound file from one device to the another device with the help of a I2S. The final IRDA. IRDA stands for Infrared Data Association. Nowadays, in most of the portable devices like mobile telephones, laptops, cameras, and printers, they are using this infrared data association. The important application of a IRDA is where we can transfer the data wirelessly. That is, it's just like a kind of wireless optical communication where we can transfer the secure data and the line of sight, and the data transmission rate is very much low if you prefer IRDA. Then PWM, pulse width modulation, and generally we'll have the final GPIO, general purpose input output. And it supports antenna diversity, and we'll have the integrated phase lock loop, regulators, and power management unit. And under Node MCU, we'll have the Wi-Fi. It supports with a frequency 2.4 GHz. And the same WPA can be used as a station as well as an access point under the Node MCU. The operating temperature range of Node MCU is minus 40 degrees Celsius to plus 125 degrees Celsius. The picture shows the pin diagram of a Node MCU. It consists of 17 GPIO pins, and you will have the power supply 3.3 voltage and the input of 5 voltage and the respective ground. In the Node MCU, you will have the total 4 pins related to the ground pin, and the remaining where we can have the for different applications or the interface SDIO, SPI, UART, I2C, I2S, IRDA, and the remaining 2 PWM with GPIO. How to use Arduino IDE to program Node MCU? Okay, what is the purpose of using the Arduino IDE? We'll have the 5 importance in order to use the Arduino IDE. The first one, it is inexpensive. Second one, we will have the going to support cross-platform. You can use the Arduino IDE in Windows operating system as well as the Apple operating system. There you will have the usage of this particular Arduino IDE. And using the Arduino IDE, it is simple and clear programming environment. That is the third importance. The fourth one will have the open source and extensive software support. Fifth one, you will have the open source and extensive hardware support if you prefer the Arduino IDE. That's why nowadays in most of the project they are preferring the Arduino IDE. In order to use the Arduino IDE with the help of a microcontroller Node MCU, first we should open the Arduino. Okay, this is the Arduino IDE integrated development environment board. Here I have taken the Arduino 1.8.8 version, and as you know, this one we are going to call by the name a menu one, this one a button bar, and the overall this one we are going to call by the name a program area. At the blue color line we are going to call by the name a status bar, and the black we are going to call by the name program notification area. First, if I press on the tool in the board section, you will get the number of boards which are available under the Arduino IDE. Initially, after downloading the Arduino 1.8.8, you will have only the Arduino family. You will not get the ESP8266 Wi-Fi model, that is the Node MCU, you will not get it, as well as the Lolin family, you are not going to get it. In order to get the Node MCU hardware manager, first you should click on the file. After clicking on the file, you should go to the preference. In the preference section, you should add the additional board manager URL. In order to add the Node MCU, we should add this particular URL. Okay, I will show you this one. This is the URL you should add in order to get the Node MCU in the Arduino IDE. After typing this particular URL in the preference section, then you should click on this OK. Then open board manager from tools, board menu, and find ESP8266 platform. I will go to the tool menu. Then afterwards, I will go to the board manager. I'm clicking on the board manager. After clicking on the board manager, I should type ESP8266. I will get this version related to ESP8266 by ESP8266 community with a version. When you can have a different version, we'll have starting from 2.5.2 to 2.00. Please always download the latest version, then you can upgrade. I already downloaded the ESP8266 version, that's why it is showing installed. After installing the ESP8266, you will get in the tool under the board section, you will get the ESP8266 Wi-Fi models. Okay, with respect to the ESP8266, you will have the different models. The generic one, ESP Xena, Expressifo, Lite with a version 1.0, 2.0. The same thing for Node MCU 0.9, 1.0 like that. Initially, you don't have the library or a board manager. First, you should go to the file. Under the file, click on preference, and in the additional board manager URL, you should type this particular URL. Then afterwards, click on OK. Then in the tool section, you should go to the board. Then you should click on board manager. In the board manager section, now in the board manager, okay, that's why I have told you why what is the purpose of using the Arduino IDE. It is a open source and extensive hardware. Here it is supporting the n number of hardware. Okay, like this way we should add the board manager related to Node MCU to Arduino IDE. Okay, next I will move towards some of the examples related to the Node MCU. I will connect some of the actuators like LED, LCD to the Node MCU, and it will give you the a proper output. And some of the sensors I'm going to use like a DST sensor. I will take the proximity infrared sensor. I will take a ultrasonic sensor like that. I will take some of the examples using the Node MCU. First, I will move towards the LED. The Node MCU sensor interfacing with the LED. First, I will connect the Node MCU microcontroller. Node MCU microcontroller looks like this. The main drawback of this particular Node MCU is that it is having only a single analog sensor. As you see in the pin diagram of a Node MCU, it is having only a single analog sensor. With respect to Arduino Uno, there you will have the 6 analog sensor, but under Node MCU, it consists of only a single analog sensor. Okay, this is the Node MCU. First, I will move towards the first example, how to turn on the LED using Node MCU. First, I will move towards the first example. Just click on the file section. In the file section, you will get the example. Under the example, I'll click on the basics. Under the basic, you will have the blink. Okay, you should click on the blink. Okay, when you are moving towards the program related to blink using the Node MCU, I'm going to turn on the LED for certain duration. Okay, this is the embedded C program to turn on the LED using a Node MCU. Okay, in this case, you will have the two function, one with respect to the void setup, another with respect to the void loop. In the void setup, you should mention the initialization. Okay, which are all the pins you are using, and each individual the component, is it acts like a output pin or a input pin. In my case, I'm taking LED, and that particular LED will be acts like a actuator, and I'm sending the instruction from Node MCU to the LED. That's why the LED pin will be acts like a output pin. In order to initialize the pins, I should use the instruction the pin mode under void setup section. The pin mode, and I should give the variable LED built in with a, is it input or output, because in my case I am sending a instruction from a microcontroller to the LED. You will have the inbuilt LED available inside the Node MCU. Then I will move towards the while loop section. In the while loop section, I am sending a instruction in terms of digital. That's why I'm taking the instruction the digital rate. In some of the example, in order to send the information in an analog, I should mention analog rate. In my case, I'm sending a instruction to the LED with the instruction digital write to the variable LED built in and with a high value. You can consider high, even you can consider on, even you can consider with the number 1. Digital write with a variable LED built in, comma high. For how much duration? Here in my case, I have taken the delay with 1000. 1000 means nothing but I should wait for a 1 second. It is nothing but delay. It is going to give you the a time value delay with 1 second. 1000 millisecond equal to 1 second. The same thing, I'm taking one more instruction, the digital write. I'm going to turn off the LED using digital write LED built in, comma low with a delay of 1 second. In this example, I am going to turn on the LED for 1 second, turn off in the LED for 1 second. After connecting the Node MCU to the laptop, now I should select the tool section. In the tool menu, I should click on the board. In my case, I'm using Node MCU microcontroller. For that reason, I should click on the Node MCU. After clicking on the Node MCU, you'll have the baud rate of 1,15,200. Okay, I have to be very much careful. Baud rate is nothing but some of the devices having the different processing speed, some of the devices having the a different processing speed. In order to compensate between the two devices, we are going to fix the baud rate. Next, the CPU frequency of Node MCU is around 80 MHz. Like this way, you will have the a different. Then after selecting the respective board number, then you should select the COM port. I have connected my Node MCU with a COM3. I will select this one. Then I should verify the code by clicking on this one. First, I will verify this one. It will take some time. Okay, done compiling. Now I am going to click upload. I am uploading this embedded C program to the Node MCU. Now observe it carefully. In the program notification area, it is showing the uploading process. Uploading is the status bar. At the intermediate stage, don't remove the wiring connection between the Node MCU to the laptop. Okay, it is done uploading. Now observe it carefully. In the Node MCU, you'll observe you will have the internal LED. It is turning on the LED for 1 second and turning off the LED for the next 1 second. Like this way. After means if you want to purchase the Node MCU, first you should run this particular program blinking an LED in order to check this particular Node MCU is working or not. Next, I will move towards the next example. I2C LCD. As you know, okay, before moving towards the example, what's the difference between the normal LCD and the I2C LCD? In the normal LCD, here in my case have taken the example 16 cross 2 LCD. Under the 16 cross 2 LCD, it consists of totally 16 pins, 1 to 16. The pin number 1 is related to the ground pin. Pin number 2, the plus 5 voltage, it's the power supply 1. Pin number 3 is the context adjustment. Then the pin number 4, the resistor select. In the previous session, Mr. Benak Patel he explained about the role of the resistor select as well as the read and write. The resistor select it consists of two important subsection, command register and the data register. In the command register, okay, under the register select you are having command register and the data register. The main important role of these two is that while sending an instruction from Node MCU to the LCD command register, it is going to select in which cursor position I should print the message. Means you can have the cursor position, even you can scroll the message, even you can clear the message. For that reason, we are taking a command register. In order to send a data, in that case, we have to select the data. DS means in order to select the command register, the value should be 0. In order to select the data register, you should have a 1. and read and write operation. With respect to LCD, always we are doing a write operation, and for the write operation the value should be always ground, and for the read operation the value should be always equal to 1, and we should enable by providing always grounded. And under the 16 cross 2 LCD, it consists of total 8 pins. And in most of the cases, to avoid the complexity in wiring between the microcontroller to the LCD, always we are going to consider total the 4 pins. Means we are sending the information in terms of a nibble instead of a byte. And the final 2 pins are related to the anode and cathode terminal of a LCD. Okay, these are all the basic connection with respect to the LCD. Then why I am preferring the I2C LCD? Okay, this one is the very much important one. Why? Because in case of a I2C LCD, you are having only the 4 wire. If you consider the basic 16 cross 2 LCD, you should connect a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the 4 related to the data pin 6 plus 4, 10 with anode terminal and cathode terminal. Total the 12 wiring connection should be there between the microcontroller to the LCD. But if you prefer the I2C LCD, you will have only the 4 wiring connection. In this case, observe it carefully. In the I2C LCD, you will have only the 4 pins, one with respect to the ground, the second one with respect to the VCC, the third one with respect to SDA and SCL. As you know, the importance of using I2C is that under the I2C, you will have the multiple master will be there, multiple slave will be there. In my case, I'm preferring the I2C, and the I2C LCD will be acts like a slave, and the microcontroller will be acts like a master. And under the SDA and SCL, first it is going to send. Okay, I want to send the information from my node MCU to the LCD. That's why you will have the two important wire to transfer the clock signal initial, then afterwards the data signal. Now I will make a interface connection between the node MCU to the I2C LCD. Okay, this is what we are going to call by the name. This is the normal LCD, and at the back end you will have the I2C component, and under the I2C component, observe it carefully. You will have the 4 wires. One is ground, second one is VCC, the third one SDA, the fourth one SCL. SDA means the serial data one, and the SCL means the serial clock. Now I am sending the instruction from the node MCU to the I2C LCD to print some of the messages. Okay, this is the first example related to I2C LCD. First, I should initialize the library function related to the I2C LCD. To the I2C LCD, you need two important libraries, one with respect to wire, another one with respect to liquid crystal underscore I2C.h. First, you should install the library function in the Arduino IDE. Okay, this one have downloaded Okay, it is an open source. You will get the I2C library master, and it was developed by the Adafruit company. And I will show how to install a library to the Arduino IDE. First, you should go to the sketch section, then click on the include library. Okay, in which file format you are getting the library function? If you are getting the library function in the form of zip, you should click on this one. And in my case, I have downloaded the I2C library in the folder JNC, and you should click on the libraries. Then you should click on the Arduino list, then click on open. After clicking on that particular respective library, you will get in the file section under the example. There you will have the wire library. Added with the wire library, you will get the respective Arduino Liquid Crystal I2C library master. Okay, this is the procedure to install a I2C library in Arduino IDE. Next, after installing the I2C library to the Arduino IDE, first we should initialize it. Then afterwards, observe it carefully. Liquid Crystal I2C LCD 0 cross 3F. This is the respective address of the I2C. In order to know the address of the I2C, first you should go to the scanner. You will get the scanner.ino function with respect to I2C. If you click on the scanner.ino file, okay, you will get the scanner function where you will get the address of the respective I2C LCD. First, I am going to make a connection between node MCU to the I2C LCD. In my case, I made a connection like this, ground to ground. Ground to ground. Then afterwards, VCC. VCC should be connected to 3.3 voltage pin of node MCU. Then the SDA pin should be connected to D2 pin, that is the digital pin of node MCU. Then SCL pin should be connected to D1 pin of node MCU. Now we'll run the code. First, I should check in the tools section, is it selected the board node MCU? Then afterwards, have you got a tick mark with respect to the COM port or not? After doing this process, then you should click on the verify. Okay, done compiling. Then I'm clicking on the upload. Now, in order to check the what is the address of this particular I2C library, it is showing after scanning the respective slave. In my case, NodeMCU acts like a master, I2C LCD acts like a slave, and it is showing I2C device found at address 0 cross 27. Then I should copy that 0 cross 27 and closing that one, and I am representing that particular address here 0 cross 27. Liquid crystal I2C with a variable LCD, and I am mentioning the address of that particular I2C LCD. Then in my case I'm using 16 cross 2 LCD. 16 means nothing but with respect to the column, 2 represents the row. Then in the white setup session I should begin the LCD, means it is going to initialize. Okay, here I have taken the address of the LCD 16 cross 227. It consists of 16 column, it consists of 2 rows. Then I should print hello world, and in my case I have taken 0 cross 1 means first I should mention the cursor position, in which column and in which row I should mention the hello world message, or where I can print the hello world message. The first number represents the column, the second number represents the row. In my case, I am having 16 columns, 2 rows, means nothing but starting from 0 to 15 with respect to row 0 to 1. And in the 0th column, first row, you will get the hello world. In the next row, we will get a coding is cool. Now, once again, I will go to the tool. In the tool, I will select the board manager, node MCU, then I will select the COM3. Then I will click on verify. After done compiling, next I will move towards the uploading session. After uploading code to the node MCU, I think everyone, you are seeing the message. In the first row, it is displaying hello world. In the second row, it is displaying coding is cool. Now observe it carefully. In the previous, while doing the interfacing between Arduino to the LCD, there what happens, the number of wiring connection between LCD to the Arduino, there you need a 16 wires. Means if you are sending a data 1 byte, if you are sending a in terms of nibble, there you need only the 12 wires between Arduino to 16 cross to LCD. But in this case, I have connected only 4 wires between node MCU to the I2C LCD. Okay, this is the main biggest advantage of using I2C LCD over the normal 16 cross to LCD. Like this, we'll have the some of the examples. Now I'm moving towards the second example, how to scroll a message. In the case of a 16 cross 2 LCD, I can print a maximum character around 32. Means 16 cross 2 means 16 cross 2 will get a 32. 32 maximum I can print a character. If you are having a character more than 32, in my case, I can go for a scrolling. In this session, observe it carefully. In this particular program, first I should initialize the library with respect to I2C LCD. We'll have wire and liquid cross crystal underscore I2C. Then I'm scrolling the message with a two position. First I should mention the int with a position equal to 0. Then earlier we'll have the address with a name 0 cross 27. I should change this one. And I'm using 16 cross 2 LCD. That's why I'm mentioning 16 is the column, 2 is the row. And in the white setup session, I should begin the LCD using the instruction lcd.begin, and I should print the message lcd.print. And these are all the functions which are available inside the liquid crystal underscore I2C library. I'm printing hello world. And in the while loop, the real function arrives. Here I'm using the for instruction for position equal to 0, position is less than 2, position plus plus. I'm incrementing, and in my case I'm using the two instruction. Here what happens, in order to put the comment for that one, always you should give the forward slash. This is the forward slash, and automatically the instruction changes to comment. And here in this example, I'm scrolling the message display from right by the two positions using the for loop instruction with a delay of 1 second. Once again, I'm running this particular example. First, I will verify. I'm clicking on the menu tool and have selected the node MCU and I have selected the port. Then I will move towards verify. Every time before uploading your code to any of the microcontroller, in my case have taken the node MCU microcontroller. For that reason, I'm clicking on the tool menu. Then I'm moving towards, have taken a node MCU board and have selected the port. Then only you should verify it and you should upload it. First I'm clicking on the verify. Okay, done compiling, then I'm uploading code to the Node MCU. Okay, done uploading. Now observe it carefully. In my case, it is shifting by 2 position. Hello world. Hello world is instruction. When you are having a message which is greater than the 32 characters, in that case you can use the two instruction. You can have the scroll left or scroll right. I'm printing a message hello world. In this example, it is scrolling towards the right with a position 2. In some of the cases, even you can scroll the message, displaying the message at the left side with a position 2 position. In that case, you should give the comment like this, comment to this one, and you should clear the comment. Next, I'm moving towards the DHT sensor. Okay, DHT stands for a digital humidity temperature sensor. In market, you will get a three different types of a DHT sensors: DHT11, DHT22, and DHT21. And in most of the cases, they are preferring a DHT22 over the DHT11. Inside a DHT sensor, you will have the two sensors are there. One with respect to the temperature, another one with respect to humidity. In order to measure the temperature around the surrounding area, they are preferring the thermistor. With the help of a thermistor, they are going to measure the temperature. And another component they are using, that is capacitor. And it is going to measure the amount of hygrographic material around the surrounding area. Okay, I think you know about the capacitor expression C is equal to epsilon A divided by D. And epsilon, it is nothing but the permittivity. The permittivity is between the two plates. And in order to measure the humidity around the surrounding area, they are putting a hygrographic material. The purpose of using the hygrographic material between these two is that it is going to measure the amount of water molecules present in the surrounding area. Like that, with the help of digital humidity and temperature sensor, we can measure the two important parameters. The first one, temperature; the second one, humidity. Temperature is going to measure with the help of the thermistor, and humidity is going to measure with the help of the capacitor. Here I have taken the specification between the two different types of a DHT, one with respect to DHT11, another one with respect to DHT22. With respect to cost, both are having the low cost and the supply between 3 to 5 voltage supply and the current of 2.5 milliampere maximum current. Here it differs a lot. In the case of a DHT11, it is going to have a good for 20 to 80% humidity and the accuracy is around 5%. With respect to DHT22, we will have good for 0 to 100% humidity and readings with accuracy of 2 to 5%. See the difference. Under the DHT11, you will have the accuracy with 5%. With respect to DHT22, we will have 2 to 5% accuracy. Taking the another parameter, temperature, good for 0 to 50 degrees Celsius. It can measure only between 0 to 50 degrees Celsius with the accuracy of plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius. If I take DHT22, it is going to measure between minus 40 degrees Celsius to plus 125 degrees Celsius, and the accuracy of around plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. That's why in most of the real-time application, they are going to prefer DHT22 over DHT11, and it is going to receive the data. Here I have taken two example. You will have the 40-bit data you will get at the destination, where total 16 bits related to the humidity, where you will have the high humidity, low humidity, and 16 bits related to the temperature, and finally 8 bit will have the parity. It is going to check how many number of ones and zeros are there. Okay, based on that one, it is going to give I'm getting the proper data or not at the receiver end. Then in order to know the temperature, I'm using the DHT sensor, and to measure the temperature and humidity values, I need a library function. Here I have taken DHT sensor library master. With the help of this library, I can measure the temperature and humidity using a DHT sensor. Okay, now I will move towards the code section related to the DHT library. In this example, with the help of a DHT22 sensor, I am going to measure the two important parameters. The first one, temperature, the second one, humidity. Okay, how to install the library to the Arduino IDE? As you know, first you should go to the sketch, then you should go to the include library. In the include library, you should click on the add zip library. In my case, already have downloaded the DHT library in the folder JNNC. Okay, you will get the DHT sensor library. In the internet, there you will have the DHT sensor library master. You should click on this one and you should click on the open. Then afterwards, you should go to the file menu. In the file menu, you will have the example. Now observe it, you will get DHT sensor library. Okay, these are all the procedure to upload any library to the Arduino IDE. First, you should go to the sketch. In the sketch, you should select the include library. Then you should click on add zip library. If you have downloaded library, then you should click on. Okay, we will provide all the library. In the library, you will click on the DHT sensor library master. Then you should click on open. Then afterwards, you will get in the example section at the end, you will get the DHT sensor library where it is uploaded to Arduino IDE. Then first I should initialize the DHT library #include dht.h. Then afterwards DHT. In my case, to which pin number I'm making a connection between the DHT sensor to the node MCU. 5 represents the GPIO. As you know, in the node MCU, it consists of 17 GPIO pins. I'm clicking to the GPIO 5. I'm making a connection between node MCU to the DST. I'm connecting to the GPIO 5. GPIO 5 is nothing but D1 pin of node MCU. Then in the wire setup session, I should make a data transmit. That is the baud rate. I should put serial.begin 9600. In the loop session, first I should put serial.print. I should print the value of temperature. First I should fetch the value from a sensor using the instruction dst.read temperature. These two instructions, that is dst.read temperature as well as dst.read humidity, these two functions are available within the library dst.h. That's why using the single sensor, I'm collecting the two parameter. One is temperature and another one is humidity. First, I'm taking the value of temperature using dst.read temperature with a delay of 2 second. Delay 2000. 2000 is nothing but it's a 2000 millisecond equal to 2 second. The another one parameter I'm measuring humidity using the instruction dst.read humidity. First, I should make a connection between DST sensor to the node MCU. Okay, here I have given the connection between. Means in this example, I have taken the DST11. Okay, it looks like same thing, but you will have the accuracy is differs a lot between DST11 to DST22. First, I should make a connection between the DST sensor to the node MCU. Okay, this is the DST22 sensor. In the DST22 sensor, it consists of three pins. Positive means VCC, negative ground. The middle one, it is the data pin. Now I'm making a connection between the DST sensor to the node MCU. First, I should connect the ground pin to the ground pin of a node MCU. Then afterwards, I should connect the VCC pin of DST sensor to the 3.3 voltage pin of node MCU. Then I should connect the data pin of DST sensor to the GPIO 5 or nothing but observe it carefully. Always this is the D5. As you know, in the pin diagram of a node MCU, always we should mention with respect to the GPIO number. D1 is the digital pin. With respect to D1, you will have the GPIO 5. That's why in the program session, program have taken DST5. 5 is the GPIO number with respect to D1 pin. After the connection, once again, I should select the which board I'm using. The node MCU board have selected. Then I have selected the port. Then I should verify the code by clicking on verify. Now I'm compiling the sketch. Okay, done compiling. Now I am uploading this code to the Node MCU. Now all the message is displaying in the serial monitor. Now I'm clicking on the serial monitor. Okay, wait, I will cross check it. The connection.
ಫೈಲ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ವಿಮಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಸರಿ ರೀಸೆಟ್ ಹೊಡಿಲ್ಲ.
Okay, now you are getting the humidity and temperature value. The humidity is around 76.10. It is going to give you in terms of percentage, 76% in the surrounding area, and the temperature is around 26.30. With the help of this sensor, you will get with the help of this sensor, you will get the two important parameter. The first one is humidity, the second one is temperature. Next, I will move towards the another sensor, ultrasonic sensor. The ultrasonic sensor looks like this. Okay, this is the transmitter part and this is the receiver part. The purpose of using the ultrasonic sensor is to measure the distance between object to the sensor. Okay, this is the transmitter part and this is the receiver part. With respect to the ultrasonic sensor, here I am using SCSR04. SR04 means nothing but it can measure a minimum distance of 2 centimeter, a maximum distance of 400 centimeter. And under the ultrasonic sensor, it consists of 4 pins. The pin number 1 is the VCC, the pin number 2 is the trigger pin, pin number 3 is the echo pin, pin number 4 is the ground pin. First, I will move towards the functionality, the working of the Node MC ultrasonic sensor. What is the role of these two pins, the trigger pin and the echo pin? As you know, the Doppler effect. If I'm taking, this is the sensor value, and this is any kind of an object like that. If I'm sending the sound wave from the sensor, it is going to incident on the object and it is going to reflect back. Then I should measure the round trip time or the sound wave time taken by the sound wave moving from a sensor to the object and object to the sensor. This is what we are going to call by the name a round trip time. Then you should measure the distance with the help of a formula. As you know, velocity is given by what? Distance by the time taken. Then, as you know, the velocity of sound is given by what? 340 meter per second. You know the velocity of a sound. Then afterwards, with the help of this sensor, I should measure the round trip time, the time taken by the sound wave moving from the sensor to the object and object to the sensor. I should take only the one-way direction, then I should divide it by 2. Then you will get d is equal to velocity is around how much? 340 meter per second. Then you will have the round trip time, that is t by 2. Then you should multiply between the velocity of a sound with the one direction time taken by the sound wave moving from object to the sensor or sensor to the object. You will get the distance between a sensor to the object. Okay, in my case, I have taken, in order to trigger, as you know, you will have the two pin. One is the trigger pin, another one is the echo pin. First, you should send a sound wave from the sensor by triggering. In that case, I should provide the signal from the node MCU to the sensor with a time duration should be at least, or it should be greater than the 10 microsecond. If it is greater than the 10 microsecond, here what happens? The sensor, with the help of a trigger pin, it is going to send the total 8 pulses consist of a 40 kilohertz from a sensor to the object. When it is going to reflect back from the object, then it is going to send a signal. That signal we are going to call by the name echo signal. Like that, you will have the transmitter part and the receiver part. In the transmitter part, we are sending a sound wave. In the receiver part, we are receiving the echo signal. With the help of that signal, we are going to measure the time taken by the sound wave moving from a sensor to the object, and it is going to reflect back from the object to the sensor. Next, I am moving towards the code section. In the code section, first I will take the ultrasonic. Now I have opened the example related to ultrasonic sensor. Now observe it carefully. In the initial, first I should initialize which are all the pins I am making connection between node MCU to the ultrasonic sensor. First I have taken the trigger pin. The trigger pin should be connected to a D5 pin. D5 pin is nothing but what? GPIO 14. Next, echo pin. Echo pin should be connected to D6 pin of a node MCU. With respect to D6, this is the GPIO number 12. And here I have taken one scenario. If the distance, if it is distance is less than the 50 centimeter, it should turn on the LED. For that reason, means if any object comes less than the 50 centimeter, it should turn on the LED. For that reason, I am taking a LED actuator and I am going to connect to the D7 pin of node MCU. The D7 is nothing but the equivalent GPIO number is 13. Then I should initialize. The duration should be equal to 0, and here I am taking with a data type float for a distance 0.0. For duration, I am taking a data type of int. In the setup, I should mention the serial dot begin. The data transmission rate should be, the baud rate should be, I have taken 9600. Then I should initialize with a pin mode. For the trigger pin, means I am sending a signal from node MCU to the sensor in order to generate a sound wave. For that reason, I have taken a pin mode for a trigger pin is what? Output. And in order to receive the received echo signal, and have taken a pin mode echo pin with input. I should receive the sound wave from sensor to the node MCU. That's why I'm taking a pin mode echo pin with an input. And I should turn on the LED. If any object comes less than the 50 centimeter, it should turn on the LED. That's why I should send a signal from node MCU to the actuator LED. That's why I have initialized in the setup. For trigger pin output, for echo pin, I'm receiving the sound wave from the object, which is reflected back from the object. That's why I've taken input. And based on the object, if it comes less than the 50 centimeter, it should turn on the LED. Next, in the loop session, as you know, for the trigger pin, in order to generate a sound wave, I should make what I have given using IO trigger for at least 10 microsecond high level signal. That's why in my case have taken a delay of 1 means 1 millisecond. Digital rate. I am writing with a code digital rate trigger pin comma high. Then with the help of this one, the digital rate trigger pin comma high, digital rate trigger pin comma low, and it is going to generate a sound wave from the trigger pin towards the object. When it is reflected back from the object, I should receive the echo pin. In my case, I'm using a pulse in instruction. With the help of pulse in instruction, I'm going to measure the round trip time, the time taken by the signal from sensor to the object and object to the sensor with the help of pulse in. This pulse in, it is going to measure the round trip time, and where I'm getting that sound wave signal in the echo pin. And this is what a duration. And I should not take the round trip time, I should take only the one side direction. That's why I have taken duration divided by 2 whole divided by 29.1. Because as you know, the velocity of a sound wave is 340 meter per second. I should represent in terms of a centimeter. And this is the formula. Next, I am moving towards the if condition. Here you will get the distance. If the distance is between 0 to 50 centimeter, I should turn on the LED using a digital right LED pin comma high. Here I am printing the distance in terms of a centimeter. Else, if the object is greater than the 50 centimeter, I should turn the LED off using digital right LED pin comma low with a message out of range. Like this. First, I will make a connection between ultrasonic sensor to the node MCU. Here I have taken the connection between a node MCU to the ultrasonic sensor. Here I have made a ultrasonic sensor interface with the node MCU VCC pin. In in ultrasonic sensor, we will have the 4 pins: VCC, trigger pin, echo pin, and the ground. VCC should be connected to 3V3 3.3 voltage pin of a node MCU. Trigger pin should be connected to the D5 pin, and echo pin should be connected to D6 pin of a node MCU, and ground should be connected to ground. Now I am running the code. First I should check is it connected to the respective board or not. In the tool, menu. Okay, here I have selected the Node MCU. In this case, it is not connected. First, I will cross check it now. Now it is connected. Now I will verify the code. Okay, done compiling. Now I will upload the code to the Node MCU. Okay, done uploading. Now observe it carefully. In the serial monitor, it is showing the distance between sensor to the object is in terms of centimeter, 9.73, like that. Now I am moving the object greater than the 50 centimeter, then in that case it is showing out of range. Okay, now I am moving my hand towards the sensor. In this example, it is going to display the distance if the object is less than the 50 centimeter. If the object, if it is moved greater than the 50 centimeter, in that case it is going to show out of range. Now observe it carefully. Now I'm moving my hand in the out of range. Okay, where we can use this particular ultrasonic sensor, you can use in the garbage level monitoring system, and also in nowadays in car also they are using this particular ultrasonic sensor, and in the home automation you can use this ultrasonic sensor in order to detect the object between a sensor to the object. You want to go? Okay, now I will move towards the PIR sensor. PIR stands for a passive infrared sensor. Passive infrared sensor, it looks like this. The difference between ultrasonic sensor and the passive infrared sensor is that in ultrasonic sensor we can measure the distance between object to the sensor. In the case of a passive infrared sensor, it is not going to measure the distance, it is going to detect object is there or not. In the PIR sensor, as you know, the angle of elevation, Under the PIR sensor, you will have 110-degree cone view area, but with respect to ultrasonic sensor, the view area is only around 15 degrees Celsius. That's the difference between ultrasonic sensor to the PIR sensor. And under the PIR sensor, you will have 3 to 7 meter range. If you use ultrasonic sensor with SR04, you can measure up to a maximum distance of 400 centimeter. And under the PIR sensor, you will have the yellow color section. There, what happens? We'll have the pins. One pin, it is going to measure the time delay. Another one, it is going to measure the sensitivity. With respect to time, if I am going to rotate clockwise, it is going to decrease the sensitivity, and where we can vary the distance in order to detect the object, you can have a minimum of 3 meters and maximum of 7 meters. Okay, that is what, with the help of sensitivity, we can adjust. Even we can have a minimum of 3 meters, a maximum of 7 meters. With respect to time, you can increase the delay of 5 minutes, or you can decrease the time with a 3 seconds. Like that, you can increase or decrease the delay with the help of these two pins. Now I will move towards the core session. Okay, this is the program related to how to connect a PIR sensor to the node MCU. First, I should initialize. Here I have taken with a data type int PIR. The PIR sensor should be connected to a D7 pin of a node MCU. With respect to D7, you will have the GPIO pin 13, int PIR equal to 13, and int PIR value. Okay, in this case, and in the white setup, you will have the initialization serial.begin 9600 baud rate. In the loop session, you will have, here I am going to measure the digital read. PIR sensor is a digital sensor. It is going to give only the two value, maybe the 0 or it may be the 1. For that reason, I am reading the data from the sensor, PIR sensor, to the node MCU using the instruction. And after reading the data, I am going to save in the variable PIR value. That's why I have initialized with a data type int is equal to PIR value. Okay, digital read PIR. I am reading the PIR value in the GPIO pin 13. Next, if object is detected, it should be equal to 1 and it should print serial.println object detected. If the PIR value is equal to double equal to 0, then object is not detected. Now, in the tool, I am going to select the board, then I am going to select the port. Then first I should go to the tool, I should select the board, then afterwards I should select the port. Afterwards, I'm going to verify the code by clicking on that. Okay, done compiling. Then I'm uploading the code to the Node MCU. Okay, here I have uploaded the code to the Node MCU. Then I will check the response in the serial monitor. Now observe it carefully. Object is detected. Object is not detected. Once again, I'm moving my hand towards the sensor. It is going to show object is detected. Object is not detected, like that. Like that, with the help of a PIR sensor, we can detect the object. But with respect to ultrasonic sensor, we can measure the distance between sensor to the object. Okay, next I will wind up the session. In the next session, I am going to cover the Blink IoT. It's a mobile platform. With the help of a Blink, okay, you can control the n number of microcontrollers. Then I'm moving towards the ThinkSpeak. Okay, it's a IoT cloud service. With the help of that one, we can save the data, we can process the data, and as well as we can visualize the data. Okay, thank you.